Hey, how's it going everyone? Today we're going to check out Palworld's latest update 0.1.4.1 because in the patch notes they did mention that they have fixed some exploits and cheats, and we'll get into that specifically. But first and foremost, if this is your second time stopping by the channel, feel free to subscribe now and let's go ahead and dive right into this. Alrighty, as you can tell, this is the latest patch right here, and there is the patch notes, of course. And then if you take a look at the bottom section where it says others, it says this right here: implemented countermeasures against some cheats and exploits. I'm not too sure what they specifically went after, but we'll get into all the glitches that are working after patch. Let's start off by talking about a new glitch that you may not know about. What we're going to do here is pretty much use our legendary spheres infinitely. But what we do need is to have a basic sphere like the one on the left, which is going to be the Pal sphere. So now I have a Pal sphere and I have a legendary sphere. What do I need to do? The glitch is quite simple. What we're going to do is throw the legendary sphere and then quickly swap over to the basic sphere, which is the Pal sphere. What you will notice is that the Pal sphere is going to be used up, but not the legendary item. This is great because this way you can have an unlimited legendary spheres. That is, as long as you do have some basic spheres in your inventory, because if you do not have some, then you probably won't be able to do this. Now, of course, you can replace the other type of spheres like the Giga or the Hyper one. You know, you can do those ones, but honestly, I would just stick to the basic ones so that way you're not wasting some of your material crafting things that you don't need to craft. This is pretty much it when it comes down to the unlimited legendary sphere glitch. But definitely try it out and let me know if you have any issues, and if you do, comment down below. Continuing on towards number 2, we're going to talk about the duplication glitch. I know, y'all know exactly how to do this. Ever since I first posted it, a lot of you already know how to do this, but I just want to confirm that it is working after patch. You can use any item that you want. If it has an ignite in it, you can definitely use it. What I'm going to be doing today is duplicating the workbench. You can duplicate any item on the list. It's just up to you, and if you do have the material to duplicate it. For example, right here, I tried to place it down as I went across the blue line, and as you can tell, I did not duplicate it correctly. What you will need to do is drop the wood that you just scrapped and then throw that in your chest. This way you do not accidentally use it when you cross the line. I've noticed that this is a huge problem when it comes down to duplicating the items, and I've noticed that this is also an issue that some of you have experienced as well. Anyways, what we're trying to do here basically is try to place down the item inside of the work area and then try to cross the line, which is outside of the camp. So all you're doing is placing down the item and trying to cross the blue line as fast as you can while trying to place down the item. If done correctly, you should duplicate the piece. And you should also see that you have some of the items in your inventory because you did scrap it down. What you need to do now is then throw down that scrapped item, the duplicated piece, into your chest and you're good to go. Next, at number 3, we're going to talk about the flamethrower glitch, which is with Foxspark. What you will need to do next is actually capture this pal and then throw him into your party. If you already have him, go into your pal box and then throw him into your party. We also want to make sure that we do have the gloves so that we can hold this pal in our hands. And that's pretty much it. Now, all we need to do here is use our special ability, wait for the pal to come to us, and then try to send it back into its own sphere. If you do it correctly, you should see that the pal is in your hand and there will not be an icon on the bottom. For example, right here, I messed it up because as you can tell, I do have the pal in my hand, but there is an icon on the bottom, so I definitely messed it up. If you happen to mess it up as well, what you can do is actually reset your party skills. All you need to do is go to the pal specifically, drop it, pick it back up, and you should see that you can use its abilities again. I've now reset it, so what I'll do is call the pal towards me, and then I'll try to send it back into its sphere like I mentioned before, and if you do it correctly, this should happen right here. All you need to do is wait it out for about 15 to maybe 30 seconds, and then you can start firing away. What you will notice is now you have an infinite flamethrower, and you can definitely toast quite a few people out here, or pals. It's entirely up to you, but I think this right here is a pretty fun glitch. You can also use this with the Jolt Hog if you wish. And to be honest, you could probably try this out with other pals that you can hold in your hand. I've only tried out the Foxspark and the Jolt Hog. If you plan on experimenting and trying out different pals to see what works, let me know down below. I would love to know. Next, at number 4, we have the Dire Wolf launch glitch. This right here is pretty fun to do, but honestly, you might not find it as useful as I do. So I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel about this. What we're going to do here is send our Dire Wolf into our party, and we're going to make sure that we can mount on top. You will see that there is this attack here on E, which allows us to thrust forward. This right here is the Fierce Fang attack. What we are going to do now is basically try to use that skill and then jump right afterwards, and you should launch yourself like so. This does work on flat land, but if you're more on a mountain or something like that, you're probably going to find this more useful. It will launch you further. Now, as far as I'm aware, I believe this only works with the dire wolf. You could definitely try this out with other pals and see if you are able to, I don't know, produce different outcomes. If you can, or if you do, let me know down below in the comments. Also, if you need any help with the glitches, you can join the Discord, send me a message on Twitter, or you can even comment down below as I mentioned before. Next up at number 5, what we're going to do here is break through the boundaries, or no clip essentially, and we're going to be able to grab the chest at the end here without really doing anything. We need to find a dungeon and we need a flying type like so. If you do have a flying mount, equipped it, throw it in your party, whatever, right? We are now going to enter inside the cave. We're going to locate the right side here, or pretty much any side, and we're going to face downwards so that our camera is facing towards the floor. You're going to throw your sphere. If done correctly, the pal should then pop through the other side, which is out of bounds. If you mess up, do not worry. It will take some time, but most of the time you can actually go right through the wall. For example, right here, I messed up. And what I'll do now is find a different wall. It doesn't hurt to find a different section to try it out. For example, right here, I can see through the wall, and when I threw down my sphere, I was able to clip right through the wall and get on top of my mount, and now I just want to fly towards the end of the dungeon where 2 of the chests are. Once you're here, there is 2 ways to get back inside the dungeon. Sometimes you can drop down below from the top here, or what you will need to do most likely is drop down below and then throw your sphere back into the dungeon. Try to get on top of your mount, and if done correctly, you should merge back into the map. So just to throw this out there, if you are wondering, you can use any pal of your choice that is a flying type. For example, I use Jet Dragon. You can use a other flying type. It really doesn't matter. All you need to do at this point is throw down the sphere, merge through the wall by holding onto the F button, so this way you can pretty much hop on top of your mount. And right there and then you can pick up the chest, go through the teleporter. It's that easy. I did read a comment last time where someone said, hey, can you reset the dungeon by leaving and joining back? No, you absolutely cannot do that. Just throwing that out there so that you know. Coming up at number 6, what we're going to do here is spawn an infinite amount of enemies technically. And what I mean by that is that we're going to be able to reset this camp each time. And it's kind of fast. So what we're going to do here is take out all of them except for one. We are going to then pick up the items, so if there's grenades, megaspheres, or whatever there is, definitely pick it up. Now leave that one guy alive and then just leave the game and then join back on your same exact world. What you will see is that when you're back inside, you're going to see that the enemies have respawned and you can take them out once more. The cool thing about this glitch is that it really depends on the enemy type. If they're these type, then most likely they'll drop spheres, they'll drop grenades, and if you go to the more difficult areas, there is a chance that there could be some mega spheres that drop or some other type of ammo. Some will drop arrows, some will drop grenades. It just depends on the enemy type. I do want to say that there are other ways to acquire a lot of grenades or ammo or mega spheres, but really what I'm trying to show you here is something that you could do early game if you just need something. But again, you can just leave the game, join back, and you should see that everything has been reset once more. We are now going to move on and talk about the next glitch. What we are going to do this time is stack our damage. We need a sweepa and some swees. So what I did was I equipped one sweepa so that I can mount it, and you will need the saddle for that. And you will need 3 swees. What we're going to do here is then summon down our sweepa, hop on top, and you should have those 3 pals equipped with you, right? Because they're in your party. What we're going to do now is drop them. So drop all of them out of your party and then pick them back up. As you can tell on the right side, that is my current damage and my defense. But when I do pick them back up and I check my attack and defense again for that specific pal, you're going to see that it definitely stacked. Now, what happens when you try this again? Will it stack more? Absolutely. Someone over on the Discord actually was able to receive 14,000 damage, which is pretty high up there, by the way. And you can do this as much as you want, and it's that easy. I think that you guys are going to enjoy this one quite a lot. I did upload it yesterday, but I do want to update you guys again to let you know that it does work after patch. Alrighty, continuing along here, we're going to talk about a great way to acquire a lot of gold or money. We need to arrive over here at the Eastern Wild Islands. Once you're here, we need to hop on top of our mount. What I prefer is the Jet Dragon because it's a lot faster. You will need a fast pal, so if you do not have one, definitely grab one. And again, I do recommend the Jet Dragon. What we're going to do here is head straight towards the back portion here, and you should see a black marketeer. What we are going to do is respawn the black marketeer so we can grab gold coins and keys. And you can do this without leaving the game. What we're going to do is take him out, but we can freeze him if you talk to him right as your pal attacks him. If you want to, you could try another method, which involves the electric baton. So once you do take him out, you can then grab the gold and the keys, hop on top of your jet wagon, and then we're going to make a complete circle around the map. Again, you can use any pal of your choice, but I decided to use this pal because it's honestly the fastest one, I believe, in game. We are going to then make a complete circle around. If you're like me, then you might just have to, rest a little bit, then proceed forward because my pal is not that great. I mean, he's great, but he's not that great. Anyways, as you can tell, the black marketeer respawned, and now we're going to continue on and talk about the next glitch at number 9. We are going to be able to capture any boss in any tower. What we need to do is make sure that we gain a wanted level, and also, by the way, I'm sure a lot of you already know the steps here, but I will tell you guys out there that do not know about this. We are going to gain a wanted level, we're going to head towards the tower, and then at this point, we're going to wait for one of the NPCs to shoot the boss. If done correctly, the boss will then head towards a corner or head towards this side. If you do see this, you can then throw down your sphere and capture the pal instantly. It's that easy. For example, right here, the pal is going towards the right. I could throw down my sphere, and now I will be able to capture him instantly. And by the way, you can use any sphere of your choice. If you have a basic one, use a basic one. If you have an ultra, you can definitely do that. But I would recommend using the basic versions. And if you want to leave the tower, just leave the game and join back. Moving on towards number 10, what we're going to do here is use a sphere, capture a pal, then get on top of the sphere, and it will launch us really high up in the air. This one does currently work. I'm pretty sure almost 99% of the player base already knows about this glitch, but I thought I would include it so that you know it does work after patch. Coming up at number 11, what we're going to do here is basically summon down 2 pals at once so that we can use both of our pals. So how do you do the glitch? It's quite simple. We need an injured pal that's completely knocked out. As you can tell on the bottom left, it's a red icon. Next, you're going to want a pal that you can mount. Once you have both, you are going to try to summon down your mount, then swap over to the dead pal, then swap back to your original mount, which is towards the left. And if done correctly, you should be able to get on top of your mount and then summon down a pal as well, for example right here. And with that out of the way, we are going to continue on and talk about number 12. What we need to do is acquire a pal named Gale Claw. Once you have Gale Claw, you will need to craft the gloves so that you can glide with Gale. Then at this point, you're going to remove your glider. Then you're going to head back to your base with your injured pal and just rest. What should happen, if done correctly, you should be able to see that you're in a T-pose glitch. Now, unlike the previous method, this right here is not permanent. So when you do leave the game and you join back, what will happen is that you will no longer be in the T-pose glitch and you pretty much will just be roaming around normally. Alrighty, with that out of the way, we are going to talk about number 13, which involves an egg. You are going to go towards your egg incubator, grab the egg, by holding down the left mouse button, then tap and tab. And at this point, you should see that the egg icon is on your cursor. You can then move around and just wait for the egg incubator to be done. Once it is done, grab that egg icon that's on your cursor and throw it into your bag. What you should see is that you now have duplicated eggs. Alrighty, so we're almost done here. We're now at number 14. This next one is something that you might not find as useful, but what you can do is use your mount, drop down below in some water, grip onto the wall, and you should see that you're under the map. You can create a base under the map if that is something you wish. And last but not least, I'm going to show you a glitch where you can keep all of your items after death. Let's say, for example, you fall to your death or you just die in general in game. What you can do is completely close the app, load it back up, and if done correctly, you should see that everything has respawned. You have all of your loot, everything's fine, and you can just continue on. This right here is the last and final glitch, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I put a lot of work into these videos when I do create them, and if you do truly enjoy them, give this video a like, and while you're at it, make sure that you are subscribed and you have those notifications turned on. You can do this by going downwards, clicking on the bell icon, and then making sure that it's notified for all. If you happen to have any questions about today's video or any of the glitches, let me know down below and I will try to respond back within the first hour. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and I will see you all in the next video.